Let's be real. Most men are getting it backward. They're out here chasing, begging, proving, pleasing, thinking. That's how you win a woman's heart. But the truth is, the moment you put her on a pedestal, you've already lost. Why? Because real power in a relationship comes from knowing your value and never handing it over for free. The truth most men don't want to hear is this: she needs you more than you need her, but only when you carry yourself like a man who doesn't need anyone to complete him. You see, in today's dating world, too many men are operating from a place of desperation. They think they have to do more, say more, give more, just to be chosen. But women don't chase men who chase them. Women chase men who are grounded, independent, and detached from validation. The moment you stop trying to impress her and start living for yourself, she feels it. It shifts the entire dynamic. Here's the truth: no one tells you. Women want to feel chosen by a man who doesn't need them. They're drawn to power, not the loud, aggressive kind, but the silent, unbothered confidence that says, "I'm good either way." This video is about reclaiming that power, not by playing games, not by being disrespectful, but by flipping the script. When you stop proving and start leading, everything changes. She becomes more invested, she becomes more attentive, and suddenly she's the one trying to win you over. Let's break down the 7 truths that will show you exactly how to shift the power back into your hands where it belongs. Ready? Let's go. Before we start the video, I want to remind you that my exclusive online course on mastering the dating game is available now. If you've been learning from my YouTube videos, you're only scratching the surface. This course goes deeper, teaching you everything you need to know about the dating game, from approaching a woman to building real attraction. We just finished section 5 in the course, and you won't find this information on videos on my channel. It's easy to access with the secure payment option. Visit stoicapproachtolife.podia.com or click the link in the description to enroll now and improve your dating life. She feeds off your energy, not your effort. Most men think effort equals value in relationships. They believe the harder they try, the more a woman will love them. But what if I told you it's not your effort that keeps her attached? It's your energy. It's the way you carry yourself when you walk into a room. It's your calm presence, your unbothered confidence, and the way you don't look to her for approval. That's what keeps her interested. A woman doesn't stay because you sent her good morning texts or took her to expensive dinners. She stays because your masculine energy makes her feel something deeper: security, strength, and direction. Think about it. When you're overly available, always chasing, always asking her what she wants, you become predictable, and the predictable man never holds power in a relationship. He becomes the easy option, the guy she knows will always be there, no matter how she acts. That's not attractive. That's not powerful. Women are emotional creatures, and what they truly crave is emotional stimulation that comes from your presence, not your pursuit. When a man is rooted in himself, when he's not trying to impress, not trying to win her over, his energy becomes magnetic. She starts asking herself, why isn't he trying harder? That curiosity turns into interest. That interest turns into obsession, because now your lack of neediness forces her to step up. She starts feeding off your calm control, and you didn't even have to say much. In today's world, where most guys are trying too hard, the man who doesn't chase stands out. The man who can sit in silence, who can let her come to him, who doesn't flinch when she pulls back, that's the man who has the power. He knows she needs him more because his energy is rare, desperate, not over-explaining, just solid. When you stop giving all your power away by trying to prove yourself, you'll feel the shift. You'll notice how she leans in more, how she texts more, how she starts trying to impress you. That's not an accident. That's nature. She feeds off your energy, not your effort. If you want to keep your power, stop working overtime to win her. Just be the man who doesn't need to chase to be chosen. That's when everything changes. She respects the man who can walk away. A man's greatest power in any relationship is the ability to walk away, and mean it not as a threat, not as a game, but as a deep understanding that his value does not depend on her presence. Most men fear walking away because they're scared of losing her. But the truth is, the moment you're afraid to leave is the moment she starts losing respect for you. Why? Because women can sense when you're emotionally dependent. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who makes her his everything. Let's be honest. We've all been there. Caught up in a woman so deeply that we ignore the red flags, overlook the disrespect, and justify behavior we'd never accept from anyone else. And why do we do it? Because we're afraid she might leave. But here's the twist. When you're not afraid to walk away, she becomes the one afraid to lose you. That flips the entire script. She starts checking herself before she disrespects you. She thinks twice before pulling away because she knows this man won't tolerate nonsense. Walking away doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care about yourself more. It means your self-respect is non-negotiable. It means that even if you want her, you won't beg, chase, or compromise your dignity just to keep her around. And that kind of strength, it commands attention. It earns her respect, in a way flowers and gifts never will. Modern dating has created a generation of men too afraid to let go. They tolerate being breadcrumbed. They stick around, hoping she'll see their worth. But women don't reward weakness. They test for strength. And the ultimate strength is walking away without turning back when you're no longer being treated right now. Here's the part most men don't realize. When you walk away with your power intact, you don't just walk away from her. You walk into a higher version of yourself. You start focusing on your goals, your growth, your purpose. That energy is attractive. That energy makes her wonder what you're doing without her. And often she'll come back. Not because you manipulated her, but because your strength awakened her curiosity and desire. But even if she doesn't come back, you've still won. Because you didn't lose yourself trying to keep someone who didn't see your worth. You chose you. And in choosing you, you became the man who can never be truly rejected. Because you don't chase validation. You don't fear being alone. And that kind of man, that's the man she respects, desires, and can't stop thinking about. Detachment is power in relationships. The man who remains emotionally detached holds the upper hand, not because he doesn't care, but because he refuses to let his emotions control him. Detachment isn't about being cold, distant, or indifferent. It's about maintaining emotional discipline. It's the ability to feel something for a woman while still being in control of your own actions, your own time, and your own mind. When you can care without clinging, love without losing yourself, and walk away without falling apart, you've mastered one of the deepest forms of power a man can ever hold. Most men make the mistake of attaching too quickly. A little attention, a few compliments, maybe even sex, and suddenly she's all they think about. They start adjusting their schedule to please her. They drop their goals, delay their plans, and slowly drift away from the man they were becoming. That's when they lose her. Not because she's ungrateful, but because she senses the shift in energy. She sees the hunger in your eyes, the emotional dependence forming, and that's when her attraction starts to fade. Why? Because women don't want to be your mission. They want to be a part of a man's life who already has a mission. Detachment creates mystery, and mystery creates value. When you're not always available, when you don't always respond immediately, when you don't rearrange your world around her, she starts wondering about you. She starts thinking more. That curiosity makes her invest. That unpredictability makes her chase. And the more she chases, the more emotionally invested she becomes. All because you refuse to hand over your heart too quickly. Being detached doesn't mean playing hard to get. It means staying connected to your sense of self, no matter what happens with her. If she pulls away, you don't panic. If she doesn't call back, you don't crumble. If she tests you, you don't overreact. You stay grounded. That calm, composed response to emotional turbulence is what makes you rare. It's what makes her respect you. Any man can get emotional, any man can chase. But it takes strength to remain unaffected, to stay centered in the storm. When you're detached, she can feel it, and that makes her want your attention more. She wants to unlock you, understand you, feel chosen by you. But when she senses that she has you emotionally wrapped around her finger, she loses interest. The key is balance, care, but don't obsess. Give, but don't overextend. Show love, but never make her your only source of fulfillment. In a world full of men who fold under pressure, the detached man rises. He's not desperate, he's disciplined. He's not reckless, he's relaxed. And because he's not controlled by emotion, he controls the emotional frame of the relationship. That's real power. That's what keeps her chasing. The less you react, the more she invests. In the world of modern relationships, a man's emotional reactions determine the kind of influence he has. A woman is always watching how you respond, when she's distant, when she's moody, when she tests you, or even tries to provoke you. And most guys fall into the same trap. They react too quickly, too emotionally, and too often. They argue. When she gets cold, they chase. When she pulls away, they try to fix every little issue with a wall of words. But here's the truth. The less you react, the more she invests. Because your silence, your stillness, your calm presence, it speaks volumes. When you stop reacting to everything she says and does, she's forced to confront her own emotions. If she pulls away and you stay calm, she starts questioning herself. Why didn't he chase? Why didn't he react? That quietness makes her think. It flips the power dynamic. You see, women test men emotionally to find out what kind of man they're really dealing with. She wants to know if she can shake your center. She wants to know if she can control your emotional state. And if you let her control how you feel, how you speak, how you act, she knows she's got you. But the man who doesn't react, he's different. He's mysterious. He's powerful. He doesn't get angry over small things. He doesn't get needy when she goes cold. He doesn't throw away his masculinity just because things aren't going perfectly. That's the man she can't forget. That's the man she keeps coming back to. Because his lack of emotional reaction isn't weakness. It's discipline. It's the signal that says, I'm in control of me, and nothing you do will change that. When she realizes she can't get under your skin, that her little games don't work, that you don't need her validation to feel secure, that's when she starts to respect you. That's when she begins to step up her game. She calls more. She initiates more. She starts showing more affection. All because she senses you're not emotionally dependent on her. That kind of energy is rare, and it's addictive. Most men lose power because they're too eager to fix things. They think reacting fast shows that they care. But women don't fall for explanations. They fall for strength. And the strongest thing a man can do in moments of emotional chaos is remain composed. Your calmness is your control. Your silence is your strength. It tells her you are grounded, unshaken, and not moved by temporary emotions. Remember this, your emotions are your leverage. The moment you give that away, she knows she can play you. But when you hold that frame, when you choose silence over reaction, composure over chaos, she leans in harder, not because you chased, but because you didn't. That's real masculine power. She fears losing a man who's fulfilled without her. Here's a truth that most men don't realize until it's too late. A woman becomes deeply emotionally invested in the man who is already fulfilled without her. Not the man who's desperate for love, not the man who makes her his whole identity, but the man who's living a full, purpose-driven life, with or without her by his side. That man is dangerous. That man is unforgettable. That man holds all the power because he doesn't need her to feel complete. And she knows it. A lot of men wrap their entire sense of worth around a woman's attention. She texts back, they're on top of the world. She doesn't reply, their entire day is ruined. That emotional roller coaster isn't just exhausting, it's unattractive, because it shows her that your sense of happiness and peace is in her hands. And once she knows that, the dynamic shifts, you become dependent. She becomes the prize, and now you're chasing, but flip the script. Imagine you're the man who wakes up with a mission. You're building your body, your business, your character. You're constantly leveling up, not to impress her, but because you owe it to yourself. You hang out with friends, you're respected in your circle, you have hobbies, goals, ambitions, and drive. Your schedule is full, not with distractions, but with purpose. You don't have time to sit around wondering why she didn't call. You're too busy building a life worth living. And guess what? That's the exact kind of life she wants to be a part of. When a woman meets a man like that, her mindset changes. She realizes that this man doesn't need her to survive. He wants her, but he doesn't need her. And that subtle difference is everything. She starts to value your time more. She respects your space. She becomes more careful with her words and actions because she knows you have options. And not just with women, but with life itself. Fulfillment creates leverage. When you are full on your own, when your cup is overflowing, you're not chasing someone to fill the emptiness. And women can sense that. They can feel when you're whole. That's what creates emotional gravity. That's what makes them nervous to lose you. Not because you're being cocky or playing hard to get, but because they genuinely admire the man you are when she's not around. When a man is unfulfilled, he clings. He becomes reactive. He tolerates disrespect. But when you're fulfilled, you walk differently. You speak with clarity. You don't tolerate nonsense. You move from a place of abundance, and that mindset makes her want to keep earning a place in your world. Because losing you means losing access to that energy. Be that man. Live full and watch her fight harder to stay in your life. Not because you begged, but because you didn't need to. The man who controls the pace controls the relationship. In every relationship, there's a rhythm, a pace that determines how things move forward. Most men don't even realize it, but they're letting the woman set that pace. She decides when things get serious, when to talk, when to meet, and how fast or slow the connection develops. But the truth is simple. The man who controls the pace controls the relationship. And once you take charge of that timing, you shift the power back into your hands. Let's break it down. When a woman senses that you're always waiting on her time, waiting for her to call, to text, to decide if she wants to see you, she subconsciously places herself above you. Even if she likes you, even if she enjoys being around you, the moment she realizes she's running the show, her respect for you begins to erode. Because a man who doesn't control his time, his direction, or the momentum of his own relationships gives off one clear signal: weakness. But when you decide the pace, everything changes. You're not rushing things just because she wants to. You're not slowing things down because she's acting unsure. You move at your speed. You don't let her emotions set your agenda. That's leadership. And women are wired to follow a man who leads, not just in words, but in action, energy, and timing. Controlling the pace means you don't immediately jump into relationship mode after a few dates. It means you don't overexpose yourself too soon emotionally or physically. You take your time. You observe. You qualify her. Is she aligned with your mission? Is she worthy of access to your space, your time, your energy? These aren't arrogant questions. They're necessary ones because you are the gatekeeper of your own world, and she needs to feel like being part of it is a privilege, not a guarantee. You also don't allow yourself to get dragged into emotional highs and lows just because she's testing you. Maybe she goes cold for a few days. Maybe she's hot and cold. A man who controls the pace doesn't panic. He doesn't chase after breadcrumbs. He slows things down until she steps back into alignment with his frame. That's real masculine control. The more grounded you are in your pace, the more she adjusts to you. She starts matching your energy. She starts respecting your time. She starts to see you as a man who knows what he's doing. Because deep down, women don't want to lead the relationship. They only do it when the man hands them the wheel. But when she's with a man who's moving with intention, direction, and confidence, she relaxes into her feminine energy. She stops testing as much. She starts nurturing more. So remember this: don't chase her pace, set your own. Don't match her energy, lead with yours. When you own the rhythm of the relationship, you own the frame. And when you own the frame, you own the power. She submits to the man she can't control. There's a reason some men always seem to have women deeply loyal, invested, and even submissive, without having to raise their voice, demand anything, or play manipulation games. It's because those men have mastered something powerful. They're uncontrollable. They can't be guilt-tripped, emotionally baited, or pushed into reacting. They move on their terms, live by their own standards, and never allow a woman's moods or mind games to disturb their direction. That kind of masculine solidity doesn't repel women. It draws them in deeper, because at the core, a woman submits to the man she knows she can't control. Let's be honest, many modern men unknowingly give women emotional control over them. One minute, they're confident and calm. The next, they're spiraling because she didn't reply fast enough or changed her tone. That emotional instability is exactly what causes women to test even harder. They want to see where the cracks are. They want to know if you'll fold. And the moment you do, by over-apologizing, over-explaining, or chasing, she mentally marks you as just another guy. But when she senses you're unshakable, that she can't twist you up with silence or sulking, that you don't respond to pressure or emotional traps, that's when she starts to soften. She submits not out of fear, but out of deep respect. Because submission isn't weakness. It's a natural response to strength. Feminine energy desires direction. It wants to follow, but only when it trusts the man leading. And no woman can trust a man she can easily manipulate. Being uncontrollable doesn't mean being cold or distant. It means you live from a place of internal power. If she's loving, you stay grounded. If she's distant, you stay grounded. If she threatens to leave or create emotional drama, you still stay grounded. You don't raise your voice, you don't beg, and you definitely don't start proving yourself. You hold your line, and that calm firmness triggers something deep in her. It creates emotional safety. Ironically, the man she can't push around becomes the only man she feels safe surrendering to. In that safety, she starts leaning into her feminine nature. She becomes more affectionate, more nurturing, more devoted. Not because you forced her into a role, but because you created the space for her to step into it. Naturally, women crave structure. They want to feel a man's strength, not just physical, but emotional and mental. When she feels that you're not moved by her storms, she begins to trust you in ways no man before you could earn. But it only happens if you refuse to be controlled. That means no chasing, no explaining your worth, no trying to fix her emotional waves. Let her emotions rise and fall like the ocean, and be the rock that never moves. That's the man she follows. That's the man she submits to. Power in a relationship isn't about domination. It's about self-control, self-respect, and living from a place of purpose. When you stop chasing, reacting, and needing validation, everything changes. She sees you differently. She values you more. Why? Because you become the man who doesn't need her, but is still powerful enough to lead her. That's when she invests. That's when she submits. Not because you demanded it, but because you embody the strength that invites it, naturally. Remember, the man who owns himself can never be owned by anyone. Stay grounded, stay disciplined, and the power will always belong to you. And remember, if you're serious about mastering the dating game, don't miss out on my exclusive online course. We go beyond what's covered in these videos, giving you powerful insights from the first approach to lasting attraction. It's easy to enroll with the secure payment option. Visit Stoic Approach to Life, Podia.com, or simply click the link in the description to secure your spot. Don't wait until it's too late. Take action now and start transforming your dating life today. I want to especially appreciate you for taking your time to watch till the end of this video. I hope the video helps you improve every aspect of your relationship with women. Until next time, this is Stoic Approach to Life.